Okay, everyone, we are back again with these equations in the form of y equals mx plus b. This is part 2 of writing an equation, 8.5i. Mr. Taylor here. So in this particular example, we're looking at numerical. So we've already taken a look at what it looked like if they gave us a sentence or verbal representation. In this particular exercise, or should I say example, they're going to give us a numerical representation. So they tell us that we got 2 points, 2 comma 6.25 and 4 and 7, and they ask us to write an equation. So really simple. We know we need to first use the 2 points, and let's see, I want to change my pointer. So we'll use the 2 points, which is these particular 2 points, and find slope. Okay, so we'll use the slope formula, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So our 2 points are 2 and 625. This is our x1, y1, x2, and y2. So now we'll take 7 minus 6.25 divided by 4 minus 2. We're going to get 0.75 divided by 2, and that's going to give us 0.0375. Let me write this where you can see it. So this will be 0.375 to 1. Or we can put this in a fraction by saying just simply 3/8. So decimal wise, this is slope, or fraction wise, this is slope. Now, how do we determine what our y-intercept is? Well, just like we did previously, we will just take one of the points and plug them in the equation. Here we're going to show you both ways. Take one of the points, plug in y, the point for y, plug in the point for x, take our slope, and solve for b. So when we do that, let's take first 2 and 6.25. So that means this will be 0.375 times 2 plus b is equal to 6.25. Remember, we're just using this particular formula. Once we multiply, and we'll get 0.75, then because this is positive, we're going to subtract from both sides. 0.75, we're subtracting from both sides, here as well as here, and that's going to give us b, because this will isolate b. This is going to give us b is equal to 5.5. Now again, the author went back and took the same identical formula, just he used the other 2 points, which is 4 and 7, which if I probably was solving, on a test or something, I probably would have used the two integers, 4 and 7. Same concept, just plug in 4, multiply, you get 1.5, subtract from both sides, and you get 5.5. So now you have your 2 different formulas. Remember, we can use it as a decimal, but now the only thing I just want to make sure you understand, if you are doing this on a graph, and you're going to graph this, you definitely would want to use the fraction instead of a decimal, because you're looking at rise over run. So you have 2. One is y is equal to 3/8x plus 5.5, and the other one is y is equal to, and it same formula, just one's a decimal and the other one is a fraction. Both give you the same answer. Okay, let's move on. Now, here you have the exact same thing, and we've done this, so why don't you just go ahead and stop the video if possible and see can you work this, and then come back and see do our answers match up. Okay, so we want to write an equation of a line in the form of y equals mx plus b. And we want that to pass through points 3 and 1 and has a slope of a negative 0.75. So think about what we did previously when we were looking at the verbal representation. Pretty easy concept. As you can recall, we're writing in y equals mx plus b. We can substitute our x and y, and we have a slope, remember, of a negative 0.75, and our ordered pair was 3, 1. So here's our 1 is y, and 3 will be our x. We will multiply, and negative 0.75 times 3 will give us a negative 2.25 plus b is equal to 1. So in order for us to isolate, now notice we've been subtracting all of this time because our actual model has given us a positive. So in this case, it's a negative, so the opposite of a negative is addition. So in order for us to get b by itself, we will take addition, even though this look as if they are really subtracting. Let me show you what they're doing. This is the same thing as if we were saying 1 is equal to a negative 2.25b, or should I say plus b, and then we're going to add to both sides. So this will be 1 plus 2.25 is equal to a negative 2.25 plus b plus 2.25. Then, of course, these will zero out, zero pairs, what we learn to call them, and then that'll give us b is 3.25. Same concept, it's just that he used the opposite of the negative to show us that minus mean the opposite of that negative, which is the same thing as the positive. So again, here's our two answers. This could be a negative 3/4 if you're going to write it as a fraction, but sample solution. Let's move forward. Now we have an equation of a line, and it's going to pass through 3, 1, which is the same point to the other one, but this one is going to give us a y-intercept. So think about, well, actually go ahead and stop the video and see, and let me make this clear so you can see this is 0, 2.8. Then of course this is 3, 1. Now you think about what this means here. Remember, this would be our y-intercept. So go ahead and stop it, come back and see how well you fared. Okay, so we're looking at this particular solution, and there are two ways. The first way is we're going to find slope, and there's our two ordered pairs, 3, 1, which is our x1, y1, x2, y2. So we'll use a slope formula in this concept and subtract 2.8 minus 1 divided by 0 minus 3, we're going to get 1.8 divided by a negative 3. And when we simplify, we'll get a negative 6 over 10, which is the same thing as a negative 3/5. Now, we could have easily, and let me go ahead and clear this up for some of us that may not understand where this come from. If we have 1.8 and we're dividing by a negative 3, then that's going to give us a 0.6, and that's going to be negative. Okay, it's in the 10th place, so that would give us a negative 6 over 10. This is where this come from. And then we can simplify that by dividing by 2 both sides, and we'll get a negative 3 over 5. So this is where this come from, just to make sure you understand that. So that gives us our slope of m is equal to a negative 3 over 5, or m is equal to a negative 0.6. So now once we found slope, it gives us the y-intercept in the problem, which is 2.8. So we just substitute, and this is what they did here. Realistically, they just actually substituted, and y is equal to a negative 0.6 x plus 2.8. And of course, we could have used y is equal to a negative 3 over 5x plus 2.8. Remember, they gave us, we could have went through and solved if we wanted to, but literally they gave us the y-intercept. So our next concept will be from a table, and again we will come back and finish up from a table and a graph at another video.